hearing the Lions have to draft a safety now because of Brian Branch. I say this. One thing about that Achilles injury, the lighter you are, the easier it is to recover. Cam Akers injured his, and I'm just using him as the most best case scenario that I can think of. He blew his Achilles out, let's say July. Let's say August, worst case scenario, right? That's in training camp. So let's say August. So September, October, November, December. He came back by January. So 5 months. So you think about Brian Branch, December, January, February, March, April, come May, June, July, come training camp, he should have about 8 or 9 months in the bank. You know what I'm saying? So going out there and think about you got to draft a safety. Ultimately, I think Brian Branch can come back, and by the end of next season, I think he can prove his worth as getting another contract. You know, if you're a heavier guy, you know, when they're with Achilles, you know, you're a big fella, you're a big player. You know, yeah, it's gonna be harder. But a lighter guys like him, he could recover. So is it like, oh, I gotta get a safety? I like Thomas Harper. I like Avon Maddox playing safety. So I don't really see it that being that way. If you feel it's a reason that Kirby Joseph may be done in his career, then I do think you need a safety. You know, and there's a lot of decisions to make. Amik Roberts has been playing horrible, but a lot of that is a correlation to what you're doing in the front end. So, you know, obviously a lot of these guys maybe, you know, getting these PI penalties, playing a lot of man coverage, a lot of that got to do with a lack of pass rush. When you got a pass rush, everybody look good. So ultimately they have a lot of decisions to make, estimated around $50 million over the cap next year. I think right now they're about 30 under the cap, and they got a lot of guys that they probably gonna be moving on from. DJ Reader, Amik Roberts. They got a lot of veteran guys. Enrique, Josh Pascal. It's a lot of guys that you won't see here no more. So ultimately, they are probably going to, you know, carve out some cap space next year. Obviously, decisions to make on Ennis Rackstraw. Him and Tyrion both got shoulder issues, so it could be worse. So they got decisions to make next year. You know what I'm saying? Just in general, and talking about acquiring the safety, they have decisions to make. You know, the biggest decision is just, you know, cleaning the gutter up, or the garbage, or the roof raft that's in the gutter. And what I mean by that is just guys that's been consistently or habitual injury prone. You know, Josh Pascal, you gotta get that bad look off your team. Pascal, Davenport, Enrique, they just can never return, even for free. You got to get rid of guys like that. You know, you got to make a decision on Ennis Rackstraw. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, we paying him and he ain't playing. I mean, come on. You know, Taylor Decker, I'll speak on that. He talked a little bit about retirement. You know, this was supposed to be the year where Manu Giovanni got some time at left tackle. First game he played at left tackle, he got injured for the season, IR. So when we started to have these conversations and shit like this, dog, durability has to be the call of the Detroit Lions, because when you start adding these injury-prone guys to your field, it becomes contagious. But if you believe in the Most High, you believe whatever you believe in, bro. That's you know, letting bad spirits enter your body or enter your team. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm telling you right now, it's wild. I'm telling you, it's wild. So, you know, one bad apple could turn into a tremendous amount of bad apples, right? So, but with Brian Branch, I mean, I like Thomas Harper. I feel like he looked good. If you is saying that Kirby Joseph is going to be healthy, I think Brian Branch will be back next year. I don't mind bringing Avonte Maddox back here. I like what he playing at safety, Roxanne. But if you feel like you need to get another traditional safety, I mean, hey, so be it. That's what you got to do. But the way I look at it, the priority is left tackle. The priority is another pass rusher, another defensive end. I don't want to just say pass rusher. I mean, I just need another guy. You know, preferably a guy that can get juice off the end. That's what they missing. They missing speed. Aiden Hutchinson is athletically gifted, but when you start talking about closing that gap like Myles Garrett, closing that gap like what's the brother name, Micah Parsons, they need a guy that can close that gap with speed on the edge. And unfortunately, if you can find a guy with strength and speed to hold the line and be a defensive tackle, then hey man, shout out to you. But you got to find it. You got to find it. So if they can clear up enough cap space, which I believe they will, a lot of guys you ain't going to see here next year. I'm just say that right now. It's a lot of these guys you won't see here next year. But in general, you know, they might have to clear up cap space and go get a left tackle via trade, via free agency. That might have to be the case. Or guess what? Second, third round, whatever they got to pick at, you get one of those developmental tackles. You know what I'm saying? And you start to prep him. And, you know, maybe Manu Giovanni go back in the guard position, or you let them duke it out. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you allow them to duke it out. You feel me? Or you allow them to duke it out. So, excuse me. Yeah, or you allow for them to get in there and duke it out. So as far as safety, you know, at the end of the day, you know, as long as you feel that Kirby Joseph is gonna be you know, healthy, it's not a career-ending knee injury, Brian Branch should be back next year. Thomas Harper could hold the line. Vontae Maddox or Roxanne could hold the line. But I'm really starting to think you got other issues when you start talking about left tackle, when you start talking about defensive end. Those are the two priority. And then also, to be honest with you, they need to find a defensive tackle that can really penetrate and get juice on the inside. No, Lee McNeil's on the struggle bus, but shit, he's a big fella that came off a blown ACL. But they probably need to find another big, you know, somebody that somebody at least can rush the passer. That's what they need. So, you know, somebody that got speed. I'm telling y'all, that's what they've been lacking. They've done a great job this year of drawing up schemes to deal with mobile quarterbacks, but now just missing those sacks, I think Aiden Hudson, Al-Quayed Muhammad is a great start. But everybody else, hey man, you got to just, wash it, start it over again. Everybody else, you got to start building a rotation, one behind Hutch, a starter in front of Al-Quayed Muhammad, and maybe just one other guy. But you got the kid from Boise State coming, so that kind of could be your backup. But now you need, you know, a backup behind Hutch, Al-Quayed Muhammad, excellent backup type of player, could start in some situations. But now you need a guy. And right now, that dude from Miami on top of the draft boards, right, on Tankathon at least. I don't know much about him. It's a bunch of guys. You need a guy. And preferably, you need guys that can close that gap. But safety right now, you know, I think you okay there. Those safeties have stepped in. Thomas Harper has played great. Avonte Maddox is like he born to play safety. They've played great. They played great. You know, they played great. You know, they played great. They've played great. So, you know, that's just my humble opinion on it. But, oh yeah, man, let me know what y'all think about it, man. Hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. It's the first link in the description. Peace.